Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be back with another Real Estate Minute. And today I have Paula Megan and Carol Lightbody from Changing Places. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Carol and Paula are the co-founders of Changing Places, and they are senior move managers. What's a senior move manager? Senior move managers help guide older adults and their families as they make the decision of whether or not to age in place in their current home or move to a community. There's a lot around this topic. We could talk forever. There's a huge emotional aspect that both Paula and Carol take care of as well. But today we're just going to answer the few top questions that people usually have when faced with this decision. So Carol, I think you want to start. How do you even guide people as they begin contemplating whether they're going to make a move or age in place at home?
Well, I think the first suggestion I would have is to weigh the options, the pros and cons of moving, whether they're moving or aging in place. And by that, I mean, what does it mean to age in place in their current home? Do they have a bedroom on the first floor? Are all the paths clear? Does there a lot of work need to be done to facilitate any major changes? A ramp, inside, outside, removing some furniture so they can easily get around. The lighting is very, very important for an older adult. So the lighting in the room should be, pretty bright. So I think, related to that, so compare that to, do I move to an assisted living or independent living where I'll be social, the meals will be prepared for me, I'll have everything there under one roof, and I don't have to worry about modifying my house. So there's pros and cons. So I think it comes with some thought as to expense, of which way would be better. Because with the house, they still have to maintain the house.
Sure.
So there's maintenance. There's maintenance.
I was just going to say that, and also if they do decide to age in place, they have to factor in that at some point they're going to need help in the home. So they either have to have long-term care insurance or just some funds in reserve in case they need that kind of assistance down the road.
Right.
The other thing is Carol touched on is we've seen many clients who didn't realize how lonely they were until they moved, and they wanted to age in place at home and they felt like they were okay, but then they moved to a community and they were like, oh my goodness. I mean, even though whether they're social or not social, just the fact that there's people around, if they wanted to be social, made a huge difference. So that's something to consider as well.
That's a lot. These are big decisions. The next question, which you basically touched on, was, when someone decides that they're going to stay in their home, how do you work with them to make their home more comfortable for the duration?
Well, I'm in the process of getting my certificate for in-home, people staying home. And so I have come across a lot of different ideas, from making sure the doors are wide enough, making sure that all the things they use every day, say in the kitchen, are accessible to them and they're not going to be in danger by trying to stand up or reach up or, so changing all that so that it's all accessible to them. Putting, like I said, lighting, putting the bedroom on the first floor again, and just making sure that everything in their house is safe for them, safe that they have someone maybe to monitor their medication, someone coming in, maybe they could get Meals on Wheels. So it's facilitating all that type of thing for them to stay at home.
And there are also today so many devices, electronic devices, in which adult children from a distance can monitor their parents, whether it be, some of them are motion detectors. So if they're not detecting any motion over 4 hours, then an alarm goes off so that somebody could come in and make sure that everything's okay. that kind of thing.
Right. No, it's so important. And even with getting the certificate and just all the lists that you can provide people, because there are so many things that,
Mm-hmm.
they may not be thinking of. Now, what, on the other hand, if someone says, I've thought long and hard, and I want to make the move to a community, how do you help them? Like, where do they start? How do you help with that?
Well, the first thing we do is once they've selected a community and a particular apartment, we ask for the floor plan, because the floor plan is what we start with. Once we know what furniture from where they're currently living is going to go to the new place, we can then work with everything else that's left. What are we going to do with it? Are we going to sell it, or are we going to donate it, or are we going to give it to family? So that's the starting point. But basically, we sort room by room. The most efficient way to work with folks is to sort room by room. You may know from your own work in your own home, and I can say this for me, sometimes I'll start in one room and I'll find this, and then I'll walk into another room, and before you
It's
know it, nothing.
sidetracked. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So we try to stick to one room until it's finished, until we know in that room whatever's over here is being donated, whatever over here is going, whatever over there is going to family, so that we kind of have a good idea about that.
Right. It sounds like you really are so helpful in both, not only and this is so key, not only the logistics, but the emotional and day-to-day aspect as well. Is there anything else you just want to point out globally? Otherwise, I know how helpful you are. I know from experience the benefit that a service like you, professionals and Changing Places, provide. Anything else you want to add?
We have been in business for 15 years, Paula and I, the co-owners, and we have dedicated employees who, under our supervision run different jobs. And we are just really proud of the fact that we are very green. So we try not to put anything in the landfill. We try to find a home for everything.
Okay.
And we just really want to keep the client on task, but more important, not stressed, not to stress over what's going to happen.
Right.
And also they're the ones who should be making the decisions, unless we think it's, really not a good decision to bring 5 chairs and a couch, but we guide them through that though, and then we will go to the new place and put tape on the floor and say, this is what's going to fit.
Right.
And then they have a better visual of what can fit and what cannot fit safely in the new place.
Right.
And then we unpack them in the new place and we set it up as much as we can, identical to what they had, as far as their étagère case or their top of their bureau, things of that nature that we want them to be able to recognize. When we unpack their dresser, we unpack it so that everything goes in the same drawer that it came out of. So if someone's looking for socks in the top drawer and they're not there, that's not good.
No, you sound like you make it very, very easy.
So, yeah.
A stressful situation. I know how well you do it. I applaud both of you. And for everybody that's listening today, I want to thank you. I know you're offering a virtual phone complimentary consultation, which will likely be helpful. Carol and Paula can be reached at changingplaces.info. Or if you want their contact information, contact me directly. I can give you cell phone numbers. It's just an important job, and I thank you guys for doing it and doing it so well. And thanks for.
And the best part is that we still love what we're doing. After 15 years, we still love it.
No, I know you do, and I know how well you take care of people. And in this situation, I've been there myself personally. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, and we need people like you that are really attuned not only to the hands-on and the helping, but the emotional aspect as well. So thank you both.
Well, thank you, Jane, for asking us.
Yes, thank you very much, Jane.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
See you soon. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Morning.